Somewhere on Earth today, the sky is about to lie to you. For a few brief minutes, it will tell your eyes that night has fallen. Birds will fall silent, the temperature will drop, and a ring of silver fire will hang in a black afternoon sky. This isn't a dream, and it isn't a movie. It's happening right now, and millions of people across Europe are about to witness it with their own eyes. Let's step into this story. Every so often, the universe lines up three things perfectly: the sun, the moon, and the earth, in a straight line so exact that the moon's shadow reaches all the way down and touches our planet. When that happens, day turns to night in the middle of the afternoon, but only in one narrow stripe of the world. Everywhere else gets a smaller taste of the show. Today is one of those days. And for Europe, it's not just any eclipse. It's the first total solar eclipse to sweep across the mainland continent since 1999. 27 years. That's how long people have waited for this moment to come back around. To really understand what's happening, picture the moon's shadow as a fast-moving spotlight, except instead of light, it throws darkness. It begins its journey far to the north, over a remote and frozen stretch of Siberia, where for a brief moment, in the middle of the day, the world goes dark for anyone lucky enough to be standing there. From there, the shadow doesn't slow down. It races out over the Arctic Ocean, crosses into eastern Greenland, and begins painting one of the most dramatic backdrops imaginable. Endless ice, silence, and a sky that suddenly forgets what time it is. But the real story, the one millions of people are watching unfold today, continues on to Iceland. This is where the eclipse becomes something almost cinematic. Iceland's capital, Reykjavik, sits almost perfectly inside the path of totality, meaning the people there today aren't seeing a partial eclipse. They're seeing the real thing. The sun vanishing completely, swallowed whole, above a landscape of black volcanic rock and cold Atlantic wind. Try to imagine standing there. The light shifts strangely in the final minutes before totality. Colors turn washed out, shadows grow razor sharp, and the temperature noticeably drops. Then, without warning, it happens. The last blinding sliver of sunlight disappears. Darkness rushes in. And there, hanging in a sky that has no business being that dark in the afternoon, is a black circle ring with a soft, silvery white glow. The sun's own atmosphere, called the corona, invisible every single other day of the year because normal sunlight is simply too bright to let us see it. That's the part almost nobody expects the first time they witness it. It's not just darkness. It's a hole in the sky, wrapped in light that shouldn't be visible at all. From Iceland, the moon's shadow keeps moving, arcing out over open ocean in a path that curves like nothing scientists usually see. Most total eclipses travel in a fairly straight line from west to east. This one bends up and over the top of the globe before swinging back down, which is exactly why it eventually lands in a place nobody would expect for a total eclipse: sun-soaked northern Spain and the very edge of Portugal. Here's where the story takes its most beautiful turn. By the time the shadow reaches Spain, the day is already leaning toward evening. So instead of a total eclipse happening high in the sky, it happens low, near the horizon, just before sunset. Photographers call this a golden hour eclipse, and it's considered one of the rarest sights in all of astronomy. Picture towns like Leon and Burgos, where the sky begins to dim strangely in the late afternoon, the sun already low and orange, and then, in a moment that lasts somewhere close to 2 minutes, it disappears completely, leaving behind a glowing ring hanging just above the rooftops and hills, painted in every shade of gold, pink, and deep blue the evening sky can offer. For the people standing in exactly the right spot along the Spanish coast or near the Balearic Islands, this will be a memory that stays with them for the rest of their lives. And when totality ends, it ends dramatically. A brilliant burst of light explodes from one edge of the moon, so striking that it's earned its own nickname, the diamond ring effect. A thin circle of light with one blinding point, like a jewel catching fire. It's nature's way of announcing that the show is over, and daylight is coming back. Now, here's the part of the story that touches far more people. Not everyone gets to stand inside that narrow path of totality. But that doesn't mean the rest of the world misses out. Across the United Kingdom and Ireland today, people are witnessing something they haven't seen in nearly 3 decades. A partial eclipse so deep, so dramatic, that in some places up to 96% of the sun disappears behind the moon. Because of the timing, the sun sits low in the western sky during the late afternoon, meaning what people are watching isn't a distant, overhead event. It's a glowing crescent sun, sinking slowly, looking almost like a smile carved out of light, hanging just above rooftops, hills, and the sea. Across France, Belgium, Switzerland, and northern Italy, the numbers are nearly as dramatic. Somewhere between 88 and 95% coverage, visible to anyone who simply steps outside and looks west. But here's something absolutely critical to understand, something worth pausing the story for. You cannot look directly at the sun during a partial eclipse. Not for 1 second, not even when it looks like the sun is almost completely gone. That final sliver of light, even at just a few percent, carries enough intensity to permanently damage your eyes. And because the overall brightness is dimmed by the moon, your eyes won't naturally flinch away the way they would on a normal sunny day. That's what makes partial eclipses quietly dangerous. Proper eclipse glasses, or a simple homemade pinhole projector, are the only safe ways to watch. And if you happen to be standing inside the true path of totality in Spain or Iceland, remember, it's only safe to look with bare eyes during the short window when the sun is completely, 100% covered. The instant that first blinding edge reappears, the glasses go back on immediately. Step back for a moment and think about the sheer scale of what's unfolding today. One shadow, racing across the top of the world, touching a remote corner of Siberia, sweeping over Arctic ice, crossing a volcanic island nation, skimming across an entire ocean, and finally settling into a golden Spanish sunset, all within the span of a single afternoon. Along the way, it brushes past millions of people in the UK, Ireland, France, and beyond, offering them a smaller, but still breathtaking, version of the same cosmic event. Scientists, hikers, city dwellers, children looking up from playgrounds, commuters pausing mid-walk, all of them, in this exact moment, sharing the same sky, the same moon, the same sun, just seen from slightly different angles. This kind of alignment doesn't come around often. Total solar eclipses do happen somewhere on Earth every year or two, but most of the time, they trace their path across empty ocean, remote desert, or places far from where people actually live. For a total eclipse to sweep so directly across a heavily populated stretch of Europe, for so many millions of people to be within reach of total darkness, or at the very least a dramatic partial eclipse right outside their window, that's what makes an event like this genuinely rare. The last time Europe experienced anything like this was 1999. And once today fades into evening, the next total eclipse to touch mainland Europe won't arrive until 2027. And even then, it will follow a completely different path, far to the south and east. So if you're anywhere across the UK, Ireland, or Europe today, it's worth stepping outside, even just for a few minutes. Look toward the west as the afternoon shifts into evening. With the right eye protection, watch as the moon slowly takes its bite out of the sun. Somewhere far to the north, in the volcanic stillness of Iceland, and far to the south, along the golden coastlines of Spain, people are standing in complete darkness in the middle of the day, staring up at a glowing ring of light suspended in a black sky. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, for just a few minutes today, you're connected to every single one of them. All of you looking up at the same extraordinary, once-in-a-generation moment, together. Because that's the quiet power of an eclipse. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect time. It simply arrives, rearranges the sky, and reminds everyone watching just how rare, how fragile, and how astonishing it is to be alive to see it.